So Kathie Lee Gifford told a Today Show audience that she and Regis Philbin wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes in the business today, and that the industry has become, quote, really mean-spirited. So would any of you go into this industry again, or were you surprised by these comments as well?
I guess so. Listen, it's hard. What we do every day on the show, I hope people realize, like, we are talking our opinions, and some opinions tick people off. And some people agree and some people disagree. And that's hard, right? We put ourselves on the line every day, and we've learned, we've made mistakes. I just made a mistake maybe earlier this week that I'll admit to on the show. We were talking about the billionaire Ambani wedding. You remember the beautiful Indian wedding? And there have been some Indian publications that have written saying that my comments showed my inherent superiority complex.
No way!
Yes, and I had to sit with that because I was like, okay, I don't think I had any mean intentions discussing this lavish wedding, but I sat with it. And that's the difference. Excuse me, that's the difference, that Kathie Lee is now coming into a world or seeing a world where anything you say, you can't control how people will interpret it. And that's hard for some people, because I didn't mean anything negative at all. I said I was not aware of who the Ambanis were prior to Rihanna getting paid $9 million to perform at their Sangeet earlier in the spring. So just because I didn't know about them, I guess it maybe came off that they're not important. Of course, they're like one of the richest families in the world. Is that my cultural blind spot? I think I learned a lesson. It is. But it is, and I'll admit it. So you have to just be willing to see your blind spots and apologize where necessary and learn you're not going to please everybody.
Yeah.
You're not.
I think Kathie Lee also came up in a time when people could get away with a lot more. Like the Me Too and the things that were going on behind the scenes. She was around for that time. So it's interesting for her to say that she doesn't think she would have made it now. I think I would have still chosen this, and I think it would have been easier, because when I started off, I was really the token. It doesn't help that I'm the only black person here, but you know, when I was in the building, I literally was the only one, and no one ever said it to me, but it was an unspoken rule that if I was going to be in this space, I had to look like everybody else, talk like everybody else, look like everybody else, have my hair like everybody else, and there was never, ever a chance for me to talk about my hair, my natural hair. Think about the last 5 years of conversations we've had about Black Lives Matters. There was no way that I could have ever brought that to the table. Think about all the talk that we talk about, like LGBTQ community, all of these things that are mental health. We could never talk about that. And I think it's much easier because I see these young people come in with a confidence that I did not have, because I was so fearful that if I opened my mouth about anything, I would be gone. And then I would ruin that opportunity for the black women that are coming behind me. So it's interesting that she says that it's harder. It's like, yes, the comment section is hard, but you can also turn off the comment section and still do your job. Because I think a smart audience like what we have still understands, and they want to be informed, and they want to laugh, and they do get the jokes. So I think she would be just fine. I think she's just thinking more about social media. That's the difference.
I think so too, because everything you just said, I think she would be wonderful at it, and she would adapt very, very quickly. And you reminded me when you said what you just did about that. This is how you behave on national television talk shows. We got a lot of attention for that, didn't we? So that was a controversy, and that must have been hard for you to go through, but eyes were on our show, and it spread. And the same thing with Kathie Lee. If she would have said something and social media would have been bad, her ratings would go up. And so it's this double-edged sword where personally it can hurt. And I've been hurt. I got burned bad, 4 years ago? Bad. But our ratings during that time skyrocketed.
So that's
how much can you take? Do you know what I mean? Like, controversy makes for good TV.
I wouldn't want to go through that again at all. Like, so I can see it from both sides. I think you raised some really interesting points. I just think it is social media. Like, let's just be honest. Let's call it what it is. Because I worked on a show called Sex TV, and we pushed the envelope. And I remember having conversations with lawyers being like, can we show this on television? Them going, well, I actually don't know. We expected a lot of people to be writing in. And I remember the one time we got literally a type from a typewriter letter of an angry person who watched an episode. And we were so excited about it, we posted it on a board because it was so rare. But so now when I think about that, this short time later, we think that we are like more progressive, more, whatever. Meanwhile, I feel like it's just that I'm not sure what
There's a bigger platform to complain.
There's just a bigger platform to complain.
You'd have to put in the piece of paper and type out the letter.
That's right. But do you want, like, I do, I'm mean, I'll admit, I have days where I'm just like, here's what I'm saying at the morning meeting about this. I will not say that on air. And that does tell me I'm repressing certain things because I don't want to deal with it, even if it is a truth. But does that mean then that somebody out there who also shares this truth isn't hearing themselves reflected? This is the dance we're
So
doing.
interesting, yeah. And I actually think it does a disservice to everyone.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Anyway, but everybody's scared. All right.
Hey there, what did you think? Drop your comments below and join the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can find more on everything from food and fashion to pop culture and current events. See you soon.